Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAEAREs Review, where me and my homegirl Erin just let y'all know about the What's Going Down episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That's season 6, episode 10. We're moving right along, y'all. But before we get right into it, we're going to welcome Erin to the stage. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us, coming in on a Thursday.
Yes, thanks everybody. Something just clicked in my brain.
An epiphany?
Something like that. When these ladies get together, they seem to have a certain, I guess, a je ne sais quoi of, I guess they have a need to be cordial and friendly, but it just comes off so fake. I don't understand. Maybe it's my lack of understanding. I don't understand how they could tear each other down, and then the next time they're shooting a scene, they're having a party. And hugging and kissing and having a great time, but no resolve from the previous scene, i.e., Britani and Bronwyn. I don't know. Well, what do you make of that?
I think maybe part of it is that whole idea of like Mormon culture of nice nasty, where they're like very easily fake to each other's faces kind of thing. Meanwhile, very passive aggressive kind of behavior. Obviously, they're very comfortable with being combative. But I also think that a lot of them were raised with that idea of like, you just get over it and be fake nice.
Now that makes sense when you hear about how that's their way of having to deal with things, just moving on. Having to deal with something they're most uncomfortable with for the sake of this is what they're supposed to do.
I mean, I personally hate operating that way. I feel like it's disingenuous. I'm the kind of person, whatever spectrum I'm on, like I just don't, if we are not cool, I don't want to pretend. But I also understand that like sometimes you're like, I just don't want to deal with the previous conflict because I just want to have a good time. And I think the problem with the Housewives model is that almost is forced at times, to where you have to do the fake nice in order to keep going with the story. Because if we were honest, like a hell of a lot of people weren't getting along after the yacht, you know. But
Yeah, because the first scene is the high body count surprise party
right.
for Britani. First of all, high body count surprise party. Okay, insult number one, but it's a party. Um, Everybody's there except for Meredith and Lisa. Even Mary showed up, child. Even Mary was gung ho. Um,
But Mary was not faking the funk. That's the funny part. Mary's like, I'll show up, but I won't be nice to you. I'll be cordial.
I mean, yeah, and she has a lot going on. So I can understand her needing to just participate and maybe focus on something else rather than her family dysfunction. So, you know, and plus Mary's not really in it. She's really there, giving her opinion, but she ain't beefing with nobody. she her and Angie made up, so she ain't beefing with nobody at the moment, child. But she does make it known that she don't see it for Britani.
No, and it is it is Britney's party. It's to like
You
make
know?
up for getting traumatized. So it's kind of crazy that you're like, well, I'll come to support you, but I don't really like you. Like it's like what? You know.
She's just there because the call sheet.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, I don't like being fake, so I kind of respect it. But she wasn't being nasty to her. It's just funny how she'll like show up, but like
Yeah.
she does diss her pretty good with the bear.
Okay. Now that was
So
funny.
yeah,
Let's
it
talk
was.
about it. So if you remember last episode, they meaning Lisa, I mean Meredith and Bronwyn threw Brittany's bear with Jared's voice on it in the ocean. They fished it out. The crew fished it out, gave it to Brittany. She confronted those who did it and was laughed at and was not taken seriously. An apology was made by one, but the other one just laughed at her and just said, "Oh well, you know."
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do? Type of attitude. And Brittany
Right.
just walked off because she was hurt, mad, upset, all the things. Um, Too bad she couldn't give Meredith a good cussing out. Both of them, her and my girl Bronwyn, both of them would have got a good cussing out before I walked off. Please know that. But she's not that type of girl. I don't think she cussed. Do she cuss? I ain't never heard her.
I don't know. I mean, you're not supposed to as a Mormon, but
Girl.
and listen, if it were me, you would have had items pulled off your body and thrown in the bay. In the like if we were still near a body of water, something that you owned would be in wet too.
I mean, hey, it has been done before when
Fair is
Jen
fair.
Shaw was around. Just saying. Anywho, uh, Jen Shaw, she probably get out next week as much she been moving her time up. Good for her. Hell, get out of there, get out of there. Um, but yeah, so this party they're throwing for her, the bear situation, since they threw her unicorn over the edge in the water. Bronwyn thought it'd be nice if she can set up a build a bear situation. A guy was there to help the people get their preferred bear. They'll puff it up and make it nice and put the speaker box and they give Brittany the message, and all of the bears that are made by each of the ladies are given to Brittany as a consolation prize. And
Yep.
like Erin said, everybody spoke and said something nice except for Mary. It was just nothing. It was like dead air. And I was like, did you say something? She was like, mm-mm.
Yeah, she pointed it out. She was like, listen to my message. There ain't one.
Dang. Not a sermon, not a scripture.
I know. She could have been like, she could have been like, well, she was very insulted by what Brittany said to her. So
Yeah.
she said, I'm not going to give you any words from God because you said I'm the farthest away from a Christian you've ever seen. So,
Oh,
but that was later. It was later. That was right. That was when she was
dang.
telling her why she wasn't invited. So, yeah, Mary's salty.
Well, a lot of Christians are, child. I can tell you a story or 2 or 6 about grudges and vengeance and payback.
Yeah. The
Not by me, of course.
thing, well, the one thing I've noticed about Mary is Mary has gotten upset with people, and like Mary doesn't let you get upset at her though. Like if you like lose your shit and yell at her, she is not gonna get over it. But little girl, she said some crap to other people,
Hmm.
and has expected them to move on. So, you know, that is kind of one sticking point about Mary is she's such an odd little bird. And, I don't really know. Like I said, like the jury's still out on what kind of church she's running. But like that's the one area about Mary where I'm like, don't you can't take what you dish out though. Nobody's
Hmm.
allowed to lose it with you, you
Hmm.
know, and that would be tough.
Yeah, just like Lisa.
Yeah, but Mary doesn't come for people kind of in the same way as everybody else. I mean, but she definitely has her moments.
Yeah, I think she can definitely hold her own and
Yeah.
and everything. But yeah, she's not confrontational at all. So um, so after they're done with all that, they get to talking about who ain't there, and they all discuss Meredith. I think Whitney may have brought it up. No, Whitney brought up the thing with Bronwyn and Todd we're gonna get into.
Oh
But they
yeah.
start talking about Meredith and Lisa not being there. Meredith and the plane ride.
Hmm.
I think Heather said she spoke with Lisa, and Lisa was trying to rewrite history and trying to make it seem like her and Meredith did anything wrong, and Meredith is denying any wrongdoing, and even Mary validated Heather by saying, "Yeah, I spoke with Meredith, and she said pretty much the same thing." So Meredith and Lisa are sticking to the same story, and
Yep.
they need to do what Portia did.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're gonna tell somebody off, do it. But of course, you don't put your hands on people like the lady lied and said Portia did. Now, I think we all seen it by now. Just an FYI tangent situation. Everybody has seen it. Portia and the old lady on on the flight.
Hmm.
Portia is escorted off by the I don't know, FBI, somebody, Homeland Security, whoever it is, question. We saw the video, people coming off the plane supporting her. They just can't believe that lady did what she did. And the lady is just lying her behind off. Total contradiction. And then have the audacity to say she wasn't sure if Portia was gonna have her murked. What? See, Karen all day. Karen all day. Have you seen that videotape? Girl, you on mute.
Oh, sorry. I know. I just got the clips. I just got the clips. I didn't care
Girl.
enough. I heard that the lady was ridiculous. It was over a loud phone. Things got escalated. I was not about to watch 12 minutes of body cam footage. I didn't care enough.
Girl, straight Karen. She lied, contradicted herself, and that's just from the the pastor's coming off wanting to see how Portia is doing. That's how bad it was.
I
To
did
the
see
point
that.
where no one's over there with the old lady checking on her at all.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that tell you right there.
I just make it a point for my own damn self when I'm on a plane, like, get noise canceling headphones, like, take care of your own comfort. Don't rely on anybody else to provide it for you.
True. And furthermore, now this happened to me. Someone was blaring, girl, and I say blaring. Now, blaring their phone on a radio station. And I talk with the stewardess or whatever their names are these days. If that ain't it, my bad. To tell them to tell her, but you mind having that whoever has the radio behind me to turn it off?
Yes.
And that's who addressed her. No, actually, I said, can you please turn that off? She didn't. Then the next thing, I didn't say nothing else to that lady. I spoke with the people working for the airline, whatever their name, I don't know if it's stewardess or not, to address her. And then they addressed her, and then she turned it off. Simple. But anywho, we just gonna move on because that ain't
Yeah, different franchise.
Okay, and the moral to the story is people just act accordingly when you own these planes, because now we got a whole new situation. It could have resulted in something very to a situation far worse than what's going on down to the ATL Delta Sky Lounge or wherever they are. And it just all roads point to Meredith and Lisa, you did something that everybody else is in agreement with. Everybody. I just can't believe there's no footage that hasn't been shown yet. Ain't nobody put out a camera?
I guess not. I mean, I also think too, like, they might have been on an international flight that was small, that there wasn't a lot of people that knew who they were or were catching it. I don't know.
Well, child, let me tell you, if I'm hearing some commotion the way they described, I'm about to pull up my phone like, ooh, I'm gonna show it to you first. Girl, look what I seen on the airplane. Child. I'll be sending you stuff. Girl, what is this? Girl, you see this? Ooh, and talk about it. It's because if people will pull out their phones for nothing, and I just can't believe that no one has footage of this. And furthermore, these planes don't have cameras.
I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's been saying that, but I mean, I just think we got to move past it.
Well, let's just move on past it, hell.
Yeah.
So speaking of Whitney, child, now now her and Bronwyn have bonded over uh infidelity, I guess.
Being married to older men and
That too.
struggling with like the talk potentially opening up their marriage to avoid infidelity. Or some level of it already. I don't know.
And I'm not laughing at what you said. It's just that is it. But it just sounds so.
I know. Yeah.
What backwards think? I don't know. Just to keep a man in your life.
Well, I mean, I kind of got the sense from Whitney that she was open to the idea because she wouldn't mind having a little more freedom herself. With Bronwyn, I got the idea that she just wanted more control and to not be embarrassed by Todd.
I can see both of those, and I do understand Whitney did want that too. But for me, it all boils down to you want to do all this to keep this man in your life. When you both understood that marriage is between you and him, and that's it. It doesn't include anything else, anybody else. I don't know. I just have a thing about marriage and the role. I guess I have an unpopular opinion or or ideal about it, but I just want it to be between two people. I don't want it to be. I just think it is, and people make excuses for wanting to do what they want and call it what they want. That's how I see it. Again, unpopular, but for these two cases, Whitney, you're right. Whitney was and still is in the mindset of wanting more out of her life, i.e., getting a pole up there, loving the attention. Girl, I don't know about y'all because it seems like you want more than what you signed up for. People change, it's all good, but this ain't about Whitney. She brought it up because her and Bronwyn were discussing how the why she's not wearing her wedding ring.
Mm-hmm.
Bronwyn is not wearing her wedding ring, and she has told the rest of the ladies that she told Todd to stay where he at, even though he came home from his business trip, and she's not ready for him to come home because she's too damn mad that she was embarrassed down to the airlines and how embarrassed down to the social media because of again him being caught again, somebody else looking over his shoulder at his phone that things shouldn't be in. I.e., remember when her daughter Gwen caught him, and she spoke about it last year when that happened, whenever it happened. So, Todd, get you one of them screen things people can't look at. I don't know, child. But the whole point was, and they had a conversation later, y'all, we're going to get into. That was a really good conversation to a certain extent because Todd wasn't trying to talk too much. But the fact that Todd, okay, so pretty much Todd is out and ignored by Bronwyn. Bronwyn is really contemplating allowing him to do what he wants as long as they stay together. To each his own, but girl, what?
Well, she's trying to phrase it like, excuse me, you guys. Hang on one second.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do a
I think
hard
y'all understand
clear.
how I feel about. Oh, you're back. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I had to do a hard clear of the throat. I for Bronwyn, it's about control. She was basically saying that she wants to have that discussion with him. She doesn't want him to do stuff that she doesn't know about. She doesn't want the blogs to come to her with his shenanigans. She
Mm-hmm.
wants to have some kind of conversation before he does anything because she's open to the idea of perhaps maybe opening up their marriage or letting, like you were saying, let him do what he wants. To me, I'm like you. I don't share. We're not, why are we married if that's what we're doing? I want, I don't even want to have to worry about other people. That's the whole point of getting married. However, I do understand people do open up their marriage in order to maintain the commitment or the union that they have and they've invested a lot, or people have different reasons. And I understand that, it's out there, but I don't feel that Bronwyn is doing it from a healthy place. And if you are, in her case, it feels like to me she would be okay with him. I don't even know what, but like as long as she's not embarrassed. But I'm like, you don't really. That just makes me question like the genuineness of the relationship or how she feels about him.
Yeah.
Whitney, I kind of can buy, is a little bit freakier. She got together with him when she was young, wants other things out. I don't know. Whitney's is more of a free spirit, and I kind of get that part. Still wouldn't be for me, but for me, it feels like this is a weird way that Bronwyn wants control, and it's not necessarily coming from a healthy place. But it also makes me go, why'd you marry Todd in the first place? Was it, for the security he offered? Because it wasn't for his looks, in my opinion.
Well, at the end of that, there was possibility of Bronwyn, moving on, and then Brittany asked for a ring, one of her rings, if she were to, move on from her husband, in perpetuity. And I thought that it wasn't so funny to me. It was really tacky, but Brittany's tacky, so it is what it is, I guess.
She was trying to make a joke. Like you said, it was tacky, but that's that's where she comes from.
Yeah, I mean, Bronwyn laughed, so who am I? Okay. Next, we see Mary and Robert Jr. visit the newly renovated church, even though her cousin contractor showed her what was finished. She discovered what wasn't. Of course, they flashed back to the nails sticking out and
That's
some
bad. You can't have
discolorations in
nails
the
in a pew.
curtains.
Sorry. I just thought that was bad. I was like, dude, that's one area you can't cut corners. Like, you can't have parishioners sitting down with nails sticking out. Jesus.
Girl, injury,
Yeah. You gotta
lawsuit,
sue the church to get some of that tithing money back.
girl.
Anyway.
So they've been shut down for 2 years for renovation. She wanted a whole new situation. It had to be whole new because 2 years, unless things had to be fixed, and it was, the city came in. I mean, it was a big old renovation to be shut down for 2 years. I'm just saying. And a church is not a cathedral. It's just a nice sized church. Ooh, excuse me, pardon me. So anyway, then they start, they sit down and they start to, have a small talk. And Mary asks her son, "How are you in your spirituality?" And he's struggling, okay, to say the least. He's struggling. So she offers him a little word and saying, well, you know, this is the place for you to help get over what you're getting over. But of course, it's always your choice and how you gain that, get over that vulnerabilities. And this is just me paraphrasing, but how do you feel about that conversation?
Her son is struggling. I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable watching him right now, knowing the level, because I don't think he's sober at all. He still seems incredibly intoxicated to me, and I just think that's sad. I'm uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable watching them because I just watch him and go, he's still on something. There's just
Yeah.
so that's hard. And he's currently in jail right now. Um, he was arrested November 6th, I believe. I looked it up. He violated the protection order that his wife has against him for his previous arrest in October for breaking into her father's home. Um, so, we all, whatever God you believe in, whatever spiritual level, say a prayer for him, as Mary asked at BravoCon, because he's still
Yes.
struggling.
So as we move on in the show, ooh, another struggle bus child, John and Lisa.
Oh,
Girl,
that
did
man
he
does it.
give it to her or what? In his way.
That was a white man giving it to her. Did you see that? It was hilarious. That was he don't like her. Woo! That was anger right there. That was hilarious, right? It was like in his own way. That was a Mormon man being angry.
Girl, he don't like how she
Uh-uh.
tries to just put her mindset on people, him and their children, when she says that she's just trying to offer advice, and for him it's like, or you're just trying to make people think like you. For
Yeah.
instance, interrupting me when I'm trying to speak. And how many times have we seen her do that with him or with anybody else? Hello.
Yeah.
Um, it's and like she like like when she cried when the spiritual intuitive, I forget his name, Terrence or somebody. I'm sorry, I forgot his name
I don't
from a few
remember.
episodes ago. Um, I mean, soon as she sat down and got comfortable, she started bawling, crying, getting tissues, carrying on because it's weighing heavily, like Mary's, family dysfunction. Lisa has a dysfunction that she seems to not want to give into, sort of like Tamara, where she just knows she's right, and she's expecting people to fall in line. And John is telling his wife, Lisa, no, you're always correcting and wanting us to fall in line when pretty much we have minds of our own. Yeah, they're children, but you can't make them think like you. Was pretty much that's what I took from it. Is that your sentiment, or did you see something else?
Yes, but I do agree with some of what you're saying. I mean, I do agree with what you're saying in general. But
Mhm.
but the take that I kind of got from it was especially when they like flash back to how she talked about them previously, how she threw his Rolex in the snow and the this and the that. Like I do appreciate that she said we're going through a tough time right now. Our communication is off. Just like any marriage, you have, rougher times. It definitely seems like they're disconnected right now. He doesn't even seem like he likes her right now. um, I personally would not want to be corrected by my spouse when I'm trying to maybe talk to my kid. That would maybe be something I'd want to work out in private. But I also can't guarantee that maybe I wouldn't try to correct my spouse too. Like I don't know. I think I thought they had an interesting interaction. I'm curious to see how they work through this because if they don't, then they're going to prove that this isn't just a rough period. This is more of serious than that, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would love to see a situation where they're vulnerable enough to show them not getting along so well, but then also show us that they've like made their way through without it being disingenuous. It has to be
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
But yeah, he doesn't like her right now.
Yeah, she said even the hugs, the touching is less. So they ain't fucking.
Ugh. Ew, I don't want to think about that.
I don't think they're the type to announce that, but I think that was her way of saying, well, even the hugs are less. He was like, yeah, and kind of looked down, like, yeah, I don't want to touch you either. And 9 times out of 10, he would want to do it before she would. I'm just saying, that's just how men are. Sorry, that's how I think. If you think
Hmm.
I'm wrong, let me know. But
Well, yeah, most men, yes.
but all in all, no matter how Lisa kind of makes me feel, I wish them well. I hope that they get it together, not just for the sake of the children, but if they're in it for the long haul, may they find their way with maybe some help from a professional. Maybe they need a little mediation if they can't meet in the middle. Big ups to them.
Listen, I think, everybody could benefit from therapy, with the right therapist. Everybody could do some work, like everybody could take things to another level, learn some skills, you know what I mean? Therapy doesn't hurt, especially if you found one that you both find effective. So,
Right, right. And if you're always causing a problem, go talk to somebody.
exactly.
Just saying, because You may need to just need some mediation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you don't want to call it therapy, you may just need some mediation. Help sort out some things. What if I keep doing this and getting this result? Maybe, because, just saying. Because sometimes people don't like therapy. So think of it differently. Maybe the objective can be differently, not to get help, but to help you with certain things, if that makes sense. I don't know. Brittany meets up with Deush Osmond.
Oh, Lord.
Gaslight 101 is all I got to say.
This was painful.
It really was.
It
I
was
was rooting for
painful.
her. That's how
I,
bad it was.
ugh.
I don't understand why is she so hard up for men? Why is she so just, what is that, schoolgirly, and she's grown with grown kids, and what is going on in her mind, Lord? I kept saying, what's going on in her mind, Jesus, Lord? Just help me mediate shit. Please.
Well,
Know,
I
child.
would imagine, she's pretty dang Mormon. Remember, we saw her parents and stuff. Like, first.
Wait, Aaron, this woman
What?
backslides more than somebody at the skating rink.
Well, no, well, let me finish.
Okay, I'm
What I
sorry.
mean, it's okay. What I mean is, I'm just setting it up. Like, I don't think she maybe had a ton of experience before she got married. I know she's been married again. Lord knows what she's been running after since. She just has this very weird, pick me dynamic that, I just feel like has come from some like place in her upbringing that, as an adult is not matured. um she's showing signs of somebody that is like got anxious attachment, and so, when the person pulls away, they like cling harder. But then again, he was saying you're the one that always runs away, so I don't know, they suck. Like, it's awful. It's just yuck. He's a cheese ball, and then he's trying to make it her problem because she's flirting with people. And it's like, well, you won't even say that you're my boyfriend. So I'm gonna go flirt with people. And it's like, nobody likes the two of you together. Yeah, and then he's telling her she's not stable, and she's running off in the bushes, hair extensions flying in the wind. I don't know. They are just lame.
He's making her feel like she needs him.
Mm-hmm.
And manipulating her because he's smarter than her. He knows he can because she goes back and forth while he just plays with her head. She knows he does, but he's stronger in that where she's weaker in that.
Yeah.
And but she did show promise. I can say that. However, if this is how it goes all the time, then scratch that. If she, you know what? As sad as I'm about to say this group of women is where she needs to be to gain some to step her P game up, and not in that way, just to get her some more confidence so that she's not goo goo gaga over this dude.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, he sucks.
Girl, don't he?
Yes. Jared, if you're watching, listening, because you
Well, I just
suck.
called him douche eyes, and I don't know if he
Yeah.
is. And I wrote it down too, just like that.
Yeah. Well, he lived up to it. It was painful to watch. It was just like, ooh. Girl, you're a housewife now. You could find another douche canoe very easily. Look at Teresa. She found her little red monkey real fast after Joe. I, so you'll be fine. You could listen. You might as well switch it out for another flavor of suck at this point. You know,
And
God.
what happened to the dude she brought to the party last year? Where
Oh
Osmond
yeah,
just showed up because Justin opened his big old mouth.
yeah. Justin,
No,
shut up. Justin's flapping his gums a lot. You
I was
notice
just
this?
about to say, is he the eighth wife? I'm just saying.
I mean, Justin telling him she was flirting with everybody. Whose side are you on?
And why is that the topic of conversation? If
And
he
why
came
is
over
they?
to talk to you about his woes, are you trying to tell him to stay away? Or
Yeah.
are you just, like you said, gossiping too?
Well, and I
Oh.
don't want to like belabor the point, but like this makes me wonder about production and like storytelling. It's like, did Jared go over to uh see Justin right after this trip and they made it look like it was way earlier on in the season because they needed to use it? You know what I mean? Like, because are you guys such good friends now that Justin's calling you up with every move that Brittany makes that Whitney tells you about? Like, what's happening here? So I think we saw a little bit of like production, like editing mishandling going on there. Because I really don't necessarily think that Justin and Jared are like gossiping all the time, but like I said, it's really not that important. Justin did share that Brittany was acting a fool on the boat, and he was gonna find out sooner or later. But I like she said, and we were talking about, you won't even call me your girl. Like, you dangle the carrot of this
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and then like you said, and then you pull it away. So you've got her completely hung up on earning this prize of getting a commitment out of you, when it's like that's really not a prize in the long run because you suck. But you don't have her thinking that way. You have her thinking of the dopamine rush of getting you to finally be
Mm-hmm.
her boyfriend, because you keep going back and forth where you're trying to romance her, you're trying to keep her, you're showing up at parties when she's on dates with other people. So you're sabotaging her moving on. But then as soon as she wants consistency from you, you're withholding to keep her on the hook.
And you know he's doing things to her
I'm sure.
that she just can't get enough of.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to think about that. Yeah, I don't know.
That's all those guys tend to do, is make sure they please you sexually, especially a woman like that, because that's what gets her.
I guess.
That's what she will allow, for real, for real. Like before she left on the trip, she gave him some. So, and that's part of the problem, making out with him in front of her daughter. Girl, calm that thing down.
Yep. Gross.
Well, yeah, so growth one and growth two, girl, I hope you go with somebody else, because he ain't that way. Mm-mm. And all he wants is camera time anyway. He keep going
Mm-hmm.
over to Justin. That's really the only real way that he'll get some camera time. But I don't even think we saw him film this episode. Just to him mentioning that he went over to speak with Justin. He's
Yeah.
gonna be on TV, child.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think there's some production finagling going on. I think he might, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the scene he filmed with Justin happened now versus where they stuck it in
Mm-hmm.
originally. But anyway, no, he does. He wants camera time, and he's. And you know what? Here's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come on TV with me and make me look like a fool. Get out of here. Like,
Skedaddle.
yeah. Bye.
Oh Lord. Well, now we back with Bronwyn and Todd. Remember earlier y'all was talking about how Whitney brought that up, and Bronwyn was letting folks know that, she told Todd to go on. So she answered the phone this time and invited him back to the Heezy. And he just sitting there with his legs crossed, mad that he got to do this in front of the camera. You can just tell.
Yes, you can.
You know what? Girl, he was more teed off than Karen's man, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the car. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ray.
But you don't want to talk? Mm-mm.
You called Ray Greg. R.I.P. Greg.
Rest in peace, Greg.
Yeah. He knew how to play the game.
What's his name? Gary?
Ray.
Who?
Are you talking about Karen?
No, Kiarna.
Kiarna. Oh, Kiarna.
Yeah, I said the wrong name, child. Kiarna's Greg.
Yeah. Is he Greg?
Amy?
I don't know. He's somebody. Anyway, okay.
Like whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Ooh, that's molded, girl. What is the name? I got to look this up. What's Kiarna man name? KIARNARHOP. Boyfriend. Greg, that's him.
Okay, all right. Sorry. I thought you said Karen when you said Kiarna. Like, yeah.
Girl.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, because ain't that significant. Sorry, boo.
Yeah, bye. Who?
So Todd is even just he's just sitting there scrunched up, looking like I gotta film this and have and so he kept it as tight-lipped, literally and figuratively as possible, just trying to get through this scene because he knows he has to put a little grovel in because he was wrong.
Yep.
Nothing she did. It was all him. So this is what he has to do. On top of this is what he has to do. Girl. I was sitting like, oh, he don't want to be there right there. Look at him.
No, it's so painfully obvious. And it's really interesting to me because I don't think they're going to stay married. That's my personal feeling I'm starting to get. Todd looked so pissed that the power dynamic was shifting and that he had to play along because you know that if there weren't cameras and she didn't have this gig, that's not how this would have gone. He would not have groveled. She wouldn't have kicked him out. Like, it just wouldn't have been this kind of dynamic. And I'm sure it's been certain, especially based on what she said Gwen saw and with some inappropriate texting and stuff. Sounds like this is not the first time there's been an issue about this. What was interesting to me is this is similar to what we saw with Muzzy, is that she is forcing the villains in her story, or like kind of the she's reversing the tide on camera. And as she's talking to both of them, she's trying to like subconsciously say to them, like, it's my turn. It's my turn. You're going to treat me with respect. And I'm going to bring this shit up because it's what you've done to me. And I'm not going to let it, I'm not going to cower, or I'm not going to behave the way that I used to because this is my time. And I think it was very obvious Todd was annoyed. He doesn't like this part of the gig. She clearly loves being a housewife and wants to remain so. And it's obvious he does not like these kind of scenes. Well, guess what, Todd? The way you don't have them is don't look at women in their underwear on a plane, stupid. Look at them in your office. Like, you're the one getting caught. So, don't do stupid crap and you won't have to grovel on a scene like this. And that's kind of what she's trying to say to him. And but here's the deal. Bronwyn loves this. And you could tell. This ain't going nowhere.
As long as she is a housewife, now she got him by
yeah, she does.
Balls, because he cannot refuse anymore this show. She, like you said, it's that control thing. She gets it honest. Sorry. It's not sorry. You can tell. You can tell that mama had her daddy's balls too. Uh it is what it is because she said both of her parents were acting, nasty to her when she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
That came around more than the mom did, but it was evident in when she told that story about buying clothes.
Yeah, that
So
was sad.
yeah, wasn't it like that?
It was sad. No, but and like what was sadder is that like her mama didn't ever back down from like what you didn't know what it felt like for me. Your father worked for the church and Bronwyn's like relaying how painful it was to be excluded in that way. And she's like, yeah, and you embarrassed us.
And we're gonna see her next week, y'all. She back with her insults, with her passive aggressive insult. Woo-wee. But yeah, Todd was he was yeah, all he could do was just give a real executive management answer, a few bullet points, no real explanation. He gave a bullet point apology with a bullet point explanation. I don't know if production cut out a lot. I don't think he gave a lot, to be honest. It was real bullet point ish, if you ask me, because he just said, okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. No, I don't want an open relationship. I just want, us, and it'll never happen again.
Yeah. And he was trying to like keep it off camera. You could tell he was trying to be like, I wish this would just stay between you and I. I'm not happy you talked to Whitney about that crap. I wish that you wouldn't be this vulnerable on camera or this like detailed. And she was basically saying to him, tough titty.
Exactly.
She said, no, this is my time. We're not going to give you the benefit of disclosure.
Ain't that
Because
nothing?
you're
Like, you don't
embarrassing
have a
me and
choice
I'm
in the
not going to
matter
have it.
anymore, sir. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Girl. And that was it, child. That's all the notes I got. What did I say on this side? Oh, Mary.
I was going to say,
I
we
have to
got
turn the page.
yeah, we got the pinnacle here.
So the church is open, y'all. Everybody showed up except for who didn't? Britani.
Britani wasn't invited.
Oh, I didn't get
Remember,
that part.
Mary called her and said, you called me the furthest thing from God on the boat, so I didn't really want to have you there.
Oh, wish I missed that. When did she say that?
Britani was driving in the car and Mary called her and told her that. And Britani said, well, I just felt like that's how you were acting at the time. But like, I understand and like, I'm sorry that, I'm sorry. And so I guess Mary appreciated that she apologized, but then she looked at the dog and said, should I invite her? Put your paw up if I should change my mind and invite her. The dog didn't put its paw up, so she left it that way.
The dog didn't speak, so.
No, the dog didn't.
Well, people feel the way they feel, child.
Especially Mary.
So we see Mary is nervous. Mary couldn't get into church at first. She was waiting on somebody to come. She was really cute in her red. She got a
Yes.
cute little shape,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she couldn't get in church, and then she finally got in, and she was telling her, I think that was her cousin contractor she was talking to, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And he asked where Robert was. She said he was too high to come. She said, stay home.
Yep.
She left him. She didn't want to be embarrassed, and she didn't want him to be embarrassed.
Yep. It's a tough situation. I really respect that. I have empathy for Mary. That's a hard situation. She's doing the best she can right then.
I just wish that there were some men at the church that could gather around him in this time. That because different churches, different strokes, different folks. But I grew up in a missionary Baptist church atmosphere. It's different from Pentecostal. I don't know all of the differences, but the praise is different. I'm not sure how the structure is, but even when I went to I was pretty belonged to two different churches, right? And when I was little, it was, the same mission, whatever missionary Baptist church. And when I became an adult, I joined another one, blah, 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 missionary Baptist church. And they pretty much run the same. And how this latest church was structured was they pride themselves, not like they go around boasting and bragging, not that type of pride, but they pride themselves in holding folks accountable and men um, uh, what do you call it? Pretty much holding each other up. So I can honestly say, had that been my church, the church I went to most recently, the church I belonged to most recently, men would have been at the house. Men would be around, just to help support. His own father's not there. So I think I've said this earlier in the season. He needs some male structure around him, some good males. And because they're heavy in the church, some good Christian male structure to help him, guide him. It weighed heavy on Mary, as well as the dysfunction with her mother and her mother's death just 2 months prior, because she spoke about it in her sermon.
Mm-hmm.
It moved me because, like I said, coming from a church background, when she spoke and said she never or hardly ever writes down her sermons, they come to her. She has a lot. I'll say, I can't say that, but what I can say is, from what we've known of her this last 6-7 years, she can have a lot to say, because it seems like her heart was heavy due to her mom and her son, the issues that she's had and had with both of them. Anyway, go ahead and say something.
Well, Mary seems like she's had a crazy, weird, hard life, period. Like there's a lot, had
Mm-hmm.
troubles with her mom and was away from the church. And then her grandmother reached out and said, come back to the church. And then she did. And then the next thing you know, she's involved in kind of a coup where the grandmama says you have to marry your step granddaddy to keep your mama out the situation. And that's weird, right? And so, she was crying before she even got up there to start preaching. So I think, a lot of emotions were running through her as she got up there, right? It's a celebratory time. The church is, in theory, the church is reopened. I think that regardless of, and this sounds kind of weird to say, but regardless of whether the church is a cult or not, I think it's been kind of clear that Mary has been a passionate pastor and a speaker and, all of that. So I do think that was interesting to kind of watch, because Mary is very restrained otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so to see her kind of loosen up within this this arena, because this is where she comes from, was very interesting backstory on Mary. It was interesting to
Mhm.
watch, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, but like unfortunately, like her son had a major addiction, to some heavy level stuff, substances. He needs not just rehab again, clearly, but he needs like a therapist, and he needs a program of some kind to stay involved in
Yeah.
order, and male support, right? And the church. And it
Mhm.
takes, like he's struggling, and he's even said in the past, which I feel for him, he came back out of rehab and like had to change his whole way of life, and it's really hard for him to do, right? Like he wasn't ready to abandon all his friends. He wasn't um in what it takes to successfully rebuild after that level of substance addiction.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I don't feel like there's any infrastructure in place in order to help him be successful. And, Mary had made in the past a couple of comments like, I'm going to let him handle it. He needs to work on it for him. And I'm like, no, unfortunately, like, especially when you have a young person who he still is, 21 is a young adult. Like, no, they need to have a lot of like structure in order to learn how to live again, and also have friends and support and stuff. That's why AA does work for a lot of people, because it's community and community accountability. And if
Mhm.
he's just sitting there alone in his room with nothing, then of course he's going to use some kind of substance, because he doesn't want to feel. And he's probably suffering from sober depression and all kinds of things. So, um, however, I do also really feel like you were saying, like Mary's got a lot going on. Her mother passed and they weren't reconciled. And now her only child, that she does very much love, I do believe that, is struggling. And she's a little bit, it seems like, at a loss as to how to help him be successful. So it was a lot there.
And she was forbidden from going to her mother's funeral.
Right.
That, yeah, she, I can say she is a strong woman to not break down due to family being so important in her life, and to have her mother who gave her life, and to have her son whom she gave life to be so disjointed. It's something. I wish her well.
Mm-hmm.
Child, I hate to end on a somber note.
Well, the jury's still out about what this church is all about. There is the cult of the Real Housewife, or whatever the heck that thing is, on TLC. I don't know if I'm gonna watch. Um, the church has been in question. Um, they so I don't know, but um maybe there's an opportunity moving forward for it not to be so unhealthy, if it were, because of now the immediate attention, right? I would like to believe that
Mm,
Bravo's not putting a predator on our TV screen, especially a funny one like Mary. But
okay.
I'm gonna say that, like, I pray, pun intended, that the church moving forward is a healthier, like, if it weren't before, that it is now the kind of place for spiritual, uh what's the word I'm looking for, where people are spiritually fed, and
Hmm.
feel good about it. That's what my hope, because I don't want to be watching the alternative. I'm open to the idea that that's the case, unfortunately. Um, but I hope moving forward that that's all it is.
I do wish her well. I'll say this. I do plan to watch it. I believe it'll come on New Year's Day or some part of the beginning of January from what I saw as an
Okay.
advertisement. I hope that what I watch does not convince me otherwise,
Yeah.
that and that maybe there are some folks with that maybe these people were on her mother's side, because that's that
Mhm.
dynamic too, where she said her mother and her and people who followed her had to be put out.
Yeah.
So who exactly are these people with this storyline? That
Exactly.
life you said Lifetime is the
TLC.
TLC, thank
When
you.
you watch it and you tell me if I need to. You know what I mean?
For
Because
sure. So I'll say this again. I'll say something else rather. It'll I know that they've been doing stories on these housewives, the Jen Shaw of it all, the Erica Jane of it all. I'm pretty
mhm.
sure Wendy and Eddie's about to come through too, because child, the new thing about them
40 credit cards and Eddie Hennessy.
in different names, 40 active.
Yeah. 40 different credit cards and aliases, including one of them is like Pamela something. But Eddie had one that his name was Eddie Hennessy.
I just need to know, are they like current unexpiration?
I don't know. I don't know that
Girl,
specific.
I
I,
just oh, it's making it hard to just
that's the problem when you do this crap. All your business is out in the street. Like they turn you inside out. Embarrassing. Like it's looking like a legit case of we would do anything to keep up with the Joneses, including scamanam,
you
because if
know,
you have aliases and you're doing insurance fraud, oh, it
I'm
means
just
you
over
know.
here shaking my head like I know good and hell well I did not hear them say what I heard them say. Girl, you know what? It's so much BS in the news. It is giving us all this time, all of this work to do. If because people were just cutting up left and right.
Well, and then Mia just got. How many women in Potomac are going to get arrested?
Girl, they got 3 so far.
I
Actually,
mean,
speaking of Karen, child, they said that she had something not too long ago uh that could be or that could resurface as something that'll I think she was locked up for some girl. I just keep hearing people names popping up left and right. And look, and I thought Portia was for sure in trouble until that video footage came out. I said, okay, cool.
yeah.
She's in the clear. She's the only one so far, considering her
Yeah,
her,
but
her
like all these
reputation.
ladies getting actively arrested. It's one thing to have shit in your past. And like I said, I did hear that you said Kiana's might be not that long ago, but like, damn. Like it's the real housewives of, prison, not Potomac. Like literally. Larceny, stealing $11,000 worth of furniture. That is
Furniture.
ooh.
That what and then they said she left at night. Now you wrong when
But
you
it's
move
like,
out at night.
what are you trying to do? Like, did you like the furniture so much you needed to furnish the next place? I mean, like, God, that's stupid to me. To literally take the furniture out of the apartment. Like, you're
At
gonna go
night.
to jail for stealing? What were
At
you gonna
night.
do? Try to sell it? Like, how? What? Anyway, that's a whole hot mess of stupid.
Y'all, if y'all see somebody moving out at night, they running. Don't nobody move out at night. Not unless it's the last bit of something. They just cleaning up. But ain't nobody moving. at
She's
night.
not even filming. No one's gonna see your damn furniture. And you couldn't show it off in the new anyway. I'm just stupid.
That's
Stupid.
the thing.
God.
I'm like, you tell us you got all these different practices that still got your name on them that gonna be sold, and you gonna get this, and you already make $450 a year. When she first came on the show, I make $430,000 a year. Girl, if that's what you leading with, that's what you gonna end with. And case in point. Oh my God.
You got arrested for stealing someone else's furniture.
Stealing.
Furniture.
Why wasn't he arrested?
They said he's on the plane. He's bye-bye. It's you. I don't know. Because her name must have been on the lease.
Here we go. Doing stuff for man again.
Yep.
And you got children to take care of. What are you doing?
Where's
Stealing.
Gordon? What's going on?
Trying to make G out to be something that need to be watched. No, your hands need to be washed.
Yeah, well, we digress. Yes.
Ooh. Anywho, y'all, I know I'm for sure done with my notes.
Yep, we're done now. Yep, me too.
Y'all, thanks again for tuning in. We enjoyed you. Don't forget to hype the video. Yes, I ain't gonna forget no more. Hype the video. So if you see near the comments somewhere, child, just move over. Either it's the regular comments, like the replay comments, or the live comments. I think you have to keep going, and there may be a hype me up, so it'll get me some more spaces and places, so more people can latch on. I did get a couple more of subscribers, so thanks for all of your hard work, and thank you to the viewing public. I appreciate you. Me and my homegirl Erin over here doing Laura's work.
Hey, and by the way, she's at 249. Get somebody to subscribe, even if they ain't gonna watch. Let's get 250. Let's put that number. Let's hype it up. Tell your mama. Say, hey, you don't have to. I mean, we would love it if you would tune in, but she doesn't have to. Let's just. I want to see it roll at 250. Let's get that momentum.
And then next thing you know, it'll be 500, and it'll be all good and dandy.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes.
So just know that things are coming down the pipeline, y'all. Some returning shows, Selling Sunset we got going, and what's the people called? Charleston.
Southern Charm.
They just debuted Lucky Charms. Girl, I thought it was a Lucky Charm. Southern Charm.
Southern Charm.
So the Charm just debuted. So we're gonna get that out for you also. Drag Race is coming down the line at the beginning of the year sometime, and as soon as the Real Housewives of Rhode Island come through, we're going to give that to you as well. And don't forget the library. You can check that out. Look at some old stuff. Selling Sunset is coming through. Married to Medicine, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is coming through. Just, it's going to be a nice, cozy winter, y'all. We just going to be talking to y'all. Talk to us because we talk back.
Yep. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate those of you that have said hello in the chat, that have given us a little extra tea, but we sure do appreciate you.
For Sheezy and this Beezy. Now, before we go, we're going to find out where Erin will be when she ain't talking ish with me.
You can catch me on Facebook at Psychic Erin Boyd, or you can also catch me on Instagram and Threads, Psychic_ELB. Hit me up in the DMs if you'd like to get a reading.
Please do, y'all. You will very much enjoy that reading. Now, again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Make sure the bell is black. And that'll get you all notifications. You hear me? ALL. Thanks again, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.